today's rich man is getting up and hustling. I don't want to be today's rich man. I talk to God like I'm driving a car and मैं क्या कर दिया यार. When I do my gratitude exercise, I'm like, friends, thank God, family. और फिर लास्ट में होता है यार काम में तो ये भी नहीं चल रहा, वो भी नहीं चल रहा. चलो फिगर आउट करते हैं, ये सब तो है.
How would you rate them between US, Canada, India, 1, 2, 3?
US is the daddy. They're always daddies. They are the US, San Francisco, Silicon Valley for a reason.
Your favorite stage moment?
When I was in grade 10, and I was 118 kilos and everybody was laughing. And my mom said, swear by me that you would have finished the speech. You can't start a business without money, just figure it out. ऐसा नहीं होता. So being Gary is the answer to 90% of the questions.
Someone who is right now all set to change the world with 3 words. Kush, Raho, Bas. Welcome to Let's Chat with GB. Today I have with me a very special and dear friend, very special person, someone who is a father to 6 dogs, 2 girls, husband to a fantastic woman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, and someone who is right now all set to change the world with 3 words. Kush, Raho, Bas. Avi Arya, welcome to Let's Chat with GB. It's great to have you here, my friend.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
So how have you been? Tell me about Kush or Bas. I think this is one of the most refreshing things I've heard in the longest time, and I would love to jump straight into that and let me know how and where that came about.
Yeah, so thanks, because I'm getting that from a lot of people that it is a refreshing, because I think Kush or Bas was my 3 words that I was giving to myself to give myself permission to say, even if nothing else is working out in life, if I'm happy, then I can give myself the permission to say my life is working out. So it was just a permission to myself. And then I took the guts to say, let me put it out, see how people react to it. And so people reacted thinking that my work is not happening the way it should, my health is not happening the way it should, I'm not happening the way I should. But if I'm feeling happy, just that is enough, because I truly believe, we all have a way of talking to God, but I talk to God like I'm driving a car and kya kar diya yaar? Are you crazy? I talk to God like that. So I was talking to God once and I thought he's saying that when you come to me, I'm going to only ask you, did you have fun in life? Did you play? Are you happy? Like my mother would ask me. God would not ask me, अच्छा मुझे बता कि तेरे podcast में क्या हुआ थी. So अगर उसने वही पूछना है, तो ultimate exam अगर मैंने आज पास कर लिया, तो बाकी सारे exams पे मेरे को ज़्यादा tension लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. So that's the mindset.
Awesome. And I'm just thinking about this, and you've been propagating this for a long time, right? So when did you start personally living this yourself? Because I mean, yes, you've been, talking about it publicly in more recent times, but it's something you've been living for the longest time, right?
So, you know what? I think anybody who posts something or talks about something, we are all trying to give that message to ourselves. Yeah. And so this is just a reminder to myself every day that I should be happy. So it's not necessarily that I'm posting, I'm the happiest at that point in time. But it's just that I feel it comes back when I make 10 people feel happy, and then this is a great message I feel that I'm, worth it. And so I am trying now more than ever to do things that give me happiness, and then just do what I love doing, just go back to street.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, right? Because in the world today, I just see so many people positioning themselves as something they're not.
I know. And I've been guilty of doing that, right? Imposter syndrome at different levels, trying to be this thing, thinking that if I embody somebody, then I'll become that. But every time I was in a different skin, I was not 100% comfortable. Even in my dad's, because my dad is my biggest, idol, the coach and everything. Even when I tried to be him, then also I was not 100% myself. So I realized that I need to change my definition of success. So I wrote easy mornings and afternoon naps. Because I think that is a rahis, right? दोपहर को सो जाते सेठ जी, सुबह आराम से उठेंगे, तब बात करेंगे. And this today's rich man is getting up and hustling. I don't want to be today's rich man. Although I get up early because I try to do yoga, but I will be available when I am ready. That's it. Yeah.
In fact, it's interesting because there's something that I'm reading or I'm listening to both at the same time right now, and it's Mel Robbins, and she's talking about let them.
Yeah,
right. And that's really become the trending theme. But I think you had like a big start on it, because you would be talking about this, like I said, for far, longer, and you've been letting this for longer. So where did the spirituality aspect come in your life? Because I know that in your office, there would be breaks that would be taken, staff members would get up, the Gayatri Mantra would be every day recited, right? So where did the spiritual bent really come in? Because people would say that happens, either there's a time of crisis or perhaps, testing times. When did spirituality come into your life?
So you know what, like, when you're growing up and your parents tell you that, this is your younger brother, uska dhyan rakhna, even if I'm not there, you're the elder brother. And this is your sister, you have to take care of them. So like that, in my house, God was introduced like that. That you have to invite him or her in every ritual, everything. Sone se pehle, uthne ke baad, ye wo. So God for me, for the longest time, was my friend who I used to go to in terms of, that time he didn't call it anxiety or whatever it was. Kids, like, I don't know whatever was happening, they didn't know. But whatever was happening, I used to talk. So for me, it was always like, I'm opening an office now. I'm thinking of traveling to Hawaii. So I've always talked to God as a, So he had to come into my office also. He comes with me for all the meetings and everything. So I just feel that, I've always, this has always happened.
She's always going to pay off. Yeah.
In any business we've started or at home or whatever, 2 baar, 3 baar, 4 baar. So Gayatri Mantra was because it reminds me of my grandparents and reminds me about my childhood, that, you have to pray like this. So that whole chant comes, that memory takes me back over there. But I also know that it's got great scientific benefits of that chanting. So I just hope that, every company has to create a ritual and a routine. So so for that angle, we brought it. But we take it everywhere. So I show you a day-end report. Everybody sent me a day-end report. I show you the day-end report that my 14-year-old shared with me. Yes, I finished the Gayatri Mantra with the meditation.
Awesome.
And that's when the pocket money is released every Saturday.
Love that.
So it's just part of... Yeah.
So you're bringing this in now as a part of, and that's brilliant because...
if you're 14, you do 14 times Gayatri Mantra. If you're 19, you do 19 times. Yeah.
So, and I think that, really brings the value of, culture and spirituality to them as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So like I said, I used to, this word became so cliched, so that I stopped using it. But but it was not spiritual for me that you're doing something, or it was not even religious. It was for my parents and my grandparents who taught me this. It was the religious thing. Yeah. But for us, it was, they introduced it that, कि ये भी आपके घर के member है, इनके बिना नहीं होता काम, तो इनको हर जगह लेके आओ. Now that was, for us at that time, it was Sri Ram, and then it became Shiva. But then you believe your own faiths. But it was just that God was everything.
Love that. So, Brand Avi Arya, okay, and I've known you a long time. For our viewers, in case you didn't know this, we actually went to college together. And you've done a fantastic job in terms of, and you've been in the space for a long time. So, in terms of building your brand, retaining that brand. Even today, when I tell people, okay, Abhi, and they're like, wow, Abhi is just a cut above the rest, right? So, you've really worked hard on, building your brand. What does Brand Avi Arya stand for, right now? So, what are some of the things that you're saying non-negotiable? These are values that I'm not letting go at any cost. Yeah. Irrespective of whatever happens. What are some of your core values in your brand?
So, number one is parents. And when I say parents, it's a family together. I can't say parents first and then in-laws and then everybody comes into parents and family is baat. Like uske bina kuch nahi ho sakta. Sabse achhi neend aapko tab aati hai when there are people at home. When you're sleeping in a hotel, you somehow feel anxious. When you're sleeping at a friend's house, you're anxious. So I see a lot of people in my office who बात करके पता लग जाता है कि आप घर पे नहीं रहते थे. नहीं सर, मैं रायपुर से आया हूँ, मैं दिल्ली का नहीं हूँ. आपको कैसे पता? मुझे I know 100 out of 100 times. Because I can sense that this is in a person who hasn't been having regular dose of vitamin F. छुट्टी पे घर जाते हो, दिवाली में वापस आते हो. So that is most important. It's वो automatic है. You feel when I'm at home and like mom, I call, I'm going to sleep, mom, I'm already sleeping, or dad, or to my wife, or to my kids. Then when I'm alone, there's a little bit of, so family automatically jumps, number one. Number two is now it is me, because I'm starting to fall back in love with myself. Because whatever I've done, whatever has happened, for some people I created a name, for some people the name is not enough, whatever. And I realized that nobody is cared about this.
Right.
People only think about themselves. That, oh, if this guy has got this much, what can I do for myself? You call it inspiration, you can call it jealousy, either side of the extreme of the spectrum. But people think about themselves naturally. I also think for myself. So I started forgiving myself because I was always overweight and I always, if I'm not perfect, then there's a lot of forgiveness happening in the last 1 year. And I'm falling back in love with myself like others see me, like my wife and my kids. Right. So I'm like, I think I'm worth it. So I'm getting there. And so that second is me. And third is I'm building this new community called the Agency Founders Club.
Yeah.
because 15 years of running an agency, I was an outsider because I came from a small family business or a small guest house or hospitality business. So I realized later that you're always an outsider in any field. But I felt like an outsider. इसको tech नहीं आता, इसको ये नहीं आता, इसको वो नहीं आता. So नहीं आता था, अभी भी नहीं आता. But then I figured it out and I ran a successful agency, bootstrap, no money raised, nothing, no co-founders for so many years. And when I meet agency founders who are trying to be, everything perfect, I can just put a hand on their shoulder and I know they'll cry in 2 minutes because they're not able to hire the right team member, they're not able to get high ticket clients. So we said, Abhi, now that you've got to be 50 years old, let's run something. Yeah. I'm in it for the money. It's a profitable venture already. But I want to be when somebody gets on a call with me, they're like, you know what, you get paid, bro. In 15 minutes, he's like, where do I sign up? And that only happens when there's alignment with who you are versus you and your customer avatar. Your customer avatar is who you were 10 years ago. So that's third. And the fourth is a shared dream between me and Divya, which is to have a club, which is going to be called Dude and Benji, because there's a dude we lost a few years ago in Benji's we had with us. And we want to open a club with 100 dogs. So these are the 4 things which are going to be my non-negotiables.
That's so powerful. And want to come back to that brand piece, but it's also interesting when you mentioned about being an industry outsider, right? But don't you think sometimes that also is a plus? I mean, I remember when I came to the world of training and coaching, and I've been running a gifting company. I come in here and they're like, "Tu nahi samjhega, tu bahar ka banda," like you're an outsider. But I think what we were able to do with that perspective, and when I come into organizations today, I think just the fact that I'm an outsider, I see things very differently. I think the impact that I'm able to have is actually much, much bigger. Because I'm not bogged down by...
And I thought about this because I know I always say to whoever I talk about that Gaurav is a fast action thing. Like you said, whenever road I knew it. You've got to learn something next morning, it's going to be done in the office. So when it comes to you coming from outside, I know that you come from millions of consortium groups is like you scale. Right. Coaching is not scale, but you came and you brought scale to coaching. That's 200 people events, 200 people, 300 people events. So that is, you're a true testimony to the fact that you bring different perspectives. But I used to be an angry person. You were always we were in college together. You were always a nice guy. I was always a gunda. I always wanted to punch the person who doesn't think that I'm fitting it. Yeah. So that was troubling me for many years. Right. And so that's what I meant by being an outsider.
No, totally get that. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that really is AI. Because as someone who's working with agency founders, as someone who's run and continued to run a very successful digital marketing agency, what's really happening in this space, and what is exciting you about the world that we live in today?
I'm very excited and frustrated. So depends. दोपहर को 2 बजे मैं frustrated होता हूँ, 3 बजे excited, फिर 4 बजे frustrated, 5 बजे excited. It keeps going on like this because when I find something, I know that I'm not the only one who found it. 10 million people around the world have found it. And then somebody is going to take it and become the first mover. And today is not time to wait and say, I'll become 3rd, 10th, whatever. Within 2 weeks, somebody else will offer that same thing. You cannot take so much time.
Sure.
So, for example, we have 7 modules in our coaching program. We call it Get Mindset, Get Fit, Get Known, Get Lead, Get Sales, Get Teams, Get System, Get Success. So, everything in our life we see from that same lens. So, from fitness to getting known, let's say get known and get leads. Yeah. Now, so for me, I will make you almost about 2 videos a day, 3 videos a day, 60 a week, 15 a week, 60 a month, so 720 videos. Today, I'm making maybe 10% of them, and Hejan is going to make the rest of them. So, I can spend that time back with my family. Number 1. Number 2, when it comes to leads, AI tools are telling me, okay, this ad didn't work, this worked. So, are you okay if I make another one with your photo and your language? I said, yes, and it makes another one. And I don't want to even ask me if this one is working. If it's not working, figure it out yourself. Crazy. So that's going to take all my time away from ads. So we have time like Monday I'll do this, Tuesday I'll do this. So my calendar is going to become a 4-day calendar. And rest I'm going to give back to my kids. So I'm loving that fact. Right. And yesterday I was watching this one of the spiritual gurus, new gentleman who's come up. Very nice. I think I'm paraphrasing, but what I learned from him was, he said that this whole thing is coming at the right time in the universe for people to have more time. काम तो अपने आप हो जाएगा. अब अपने आप को समझने के लिए time निकालो और खुश रहने के लिए time निकालो. So that is exactly what I was telling myself since AI came. I will have more time and everybody will have more time for themselves. I'm not saying कि अब 8 घंटे का काम है, अब आप 4 गुना करो, उतना करके घर जाओ and actually reach home in time before your kids go to sleep. That is now possible again.
Yeah.
But if you take this and share with your company को 100x करना है फिर तो आप हंसते रहो. So it depends. Some people will go that route, some people will go this route. But to be able to create a song or your parents' anniversary or an anthem for your company logo, or to tell agency founders that today I tell people, oh, you're spending 2 crores a year on ads.
Right.
I'll make sure we can do it in 1 crore in half the time. Guaranteed in 3 months. How do you make such big guarantees? Because we are looking at AI every single hour.
Right.
I send out, every time I do a coaching call, we send out to create new roadmap. After this is your mindset, this is where you need to go in the next 7 days, then you and I get on a call again. Now, we found a workflow which takes all the minutes of the meeting from my Zoom.
Right.
It adds a perspective with the screen pro. This is how, Gaurav, you should be in terms of fitness. It will paint pictures of you on how you should be in the next 2 weeks or whatever. So you can print it out and put it in front. This is the homework Avi given me in a pictorial drawing format. And it will automatically follow up with you if you've done it or not. And then at the end of the 7 days, when I come, it's going to tell me where you are. And all of this happens in like 30 seconds. So then what happens to the person who's sending the email? What is that? Whatever. That person thinks of something bigger to do.
And this changes everything. I mean, I'm thinking from the perspective of consulting and dashboards, and having people with data, tracking data, manual accountability. So all of this is now going out of the window. And you have AI that's actually doing all of this creation as well as follow-up for you.
Within less than 300 seconds, an agency founder comes to me on a call. Like, my team is loving I send you some links to the calls. They're like, it's amazing. People are loving it. They're signing up. And I'll give you both sides to it. So people are signing up with me on the coaching program because I'm saying, I look at your whole business and this is what I can do for you. I'll create a screen flow, pick 4 during, after. Then this is how we'll hire people. We include the job descriptions. We post them online. सारा काम 3 महीने में, मेरे तो 3 हफ्ते का भी नहीं रह गया है. तो because my team is getting trained, in a few days I'll be able to say हम तो हफ्ते का काम है, हम 3 महीने बोल रहे हैं. Right. Now, sometimes I feel okay, everybody will do it, but then that I'm realizing it, everybody is not doing it. Everybody will still come to few people say आपने कर लिया, आप ही कर लो, हम तो कर नहीं पा रहे. So there's going to be demand. So I'm even more bullish about AI because people are not going to do it, and they will come to you to say, make it happen for me. So yesterday I had day before yesterday we signed a client who created a very good WhatsApp automation for coaches and everything, but he's not getting much traction. He's went out 35 lakhs in business in the whole year. And I told him, I said, what is your outcome? He said, हम तो custom कर रहे हैं. I said, forget that. अभी तक आपने क्या किया? He said, I built an HR tool for somebody for hiring, and then job description वगैरह वो click करते हो, then it automatically interviews you, grades you, and if you're 7 on 10, it connects you with the person. So I said, let's do it for the coaching industry and let's do it for the agency world. And we'll go and sell it to all the agency B2B, and we'll do a subscription model like that. So just by putting a layer, micro niching it, and then putting a layer of saying, this is the outcome I can give you, a vanilla custom product can become maybe tomorrow $1 million company. And I told him, I'm not going to charge you coaching. I love this. Give me a percentage of the company. Let's build it together.
Great idea.
So ऐसी रोज opportunities आ रही.
So what you're saying is what's happened is an applicant tracking system that's going through, let's say, resumes and applications on the job side is now going to be applied to a whole new industry and can actually become disruptive in the space.
6 weeks from today, do you see? That's because I discovered it yesterday. I'm sure there are many people who already know it. So I was in Vancouver and I was like, I can't sit at home. I was very restless. I'm like, what should I do? Because we still are 112 plus people and I still need to tell them what the next step is going to be. So there's a friend of mine who is an acquaintance of mine who met me and he said that he doing AI for large companies. So I said, he booked a meeting with him. I went. And he told me things are changing so fast, so don't try to do anything right now because if you build a product or whatever, it's going to get redundant. Millions or he said hundreds of thousands of companies are investing millions each and getting redundant because things are too fast. So ek saal, just observe. So वो तो हो नहीं रहा हमसे कि कैसा था. So started digging more. There's a company, how do I forget the name? Bodhi. So Bodhi, the founders, I think 2 founders, they came up with an app. It's a conversational AI. Because first is this, aapne se maine kaha HR over. Second is conversational. Third is a video will come and say, hi, I'm the HR head of Internet Moguls and how can I help you? So these guys went to the conversational level and they said, this guy can close your sales for you. Any company, any kid. So they went to raise $4 million from somebody and the guy said that, okay, I'll test it out. So he said, fine, this is the number, call Bodhi and then back and forth conversation. So after a few days, they said, we love Bodhi, we want to invest, you come. So these people went, while Bodhi was already having a conversation with them, they went to the office. And when they were going up, Bodhi called them and said that, Bodhi called the founders and said, where are you? He said, we've reached here. He said, don't go. He said, he said, we're going to close the deal for 4 million. Bodhi said, don't worry, I've closed it for 8 million. TechCrunch has news that AI has closed app deal 2x of what the founders were to do.
That is just insane.
It's closed a deal.
And we're talking about sales now. Where I always said that, okay, the sales guy seems safe in the world of AI.
Sales guy, ये तो उस बंदे ने 4 billion डॉलर का वो VC को बेच दिया deal. And we are talking about workflows. कि Zoom से automation हो सकती है कि नहीं? Just imagine. Yeah. That's what's exciting.
I think the pace we work, moving at is insane. I think it's very interesting also that you mentioned that there are some people who want to sit and wait. They're like, abhi dekhte hain, right now is not the right time. Things are evolving. Now we've of course, got and the Chinese LLMs coming, and then you've got even the smaller language models coming in. So a lot of people still want to play the wait and watch game. And I think which is what is interesting when you said that, jump in, get your hands dirty. You never know, what's really going to happen. And a lot of people are just sitting on the fences. And I always say, spectators always pay and the players get variable. So I think you need to be in the game. I think that's very important here.
So that's what so now, as you grow and you become towards 50, you have pattern recognition that becomes your expertise, Aisha. So I remember when I did cheap tickets India, when I was in my early 20s, or when I did internet moguls, I was just feeling excited. And I'm feeling the same feeling, so I just have to go for it now. There's no logic baad mein aayega. So what we are building, which should be launched in the next 3 to 6 weeks, is askaviarya.ai. So none of my team members have to ever ask me any question. It's crazy. And then I'm rebuilding agencyfounder.ai. So if you can't pay me 2 lakhs an hour for my coaching, then you pay me 2 lakhs per year for agencyfounder.ai. I think, yeah.
And all your insights and knowledge, everything's capital.
Going to be updated because after this conference, I'm going to be having a variable here.
Right.
And I've discussed something with you. It will pick up this one new. It will update agencyfounder.ai automatically. So if you're paying 2 lakhs a year, you're paying for an updated version of what I'm learning. I'm learning and disseminating its information. And it's so cheap. And it's so easy to do. It's not even fun.
Right. So, of course, you spend a lot of time traveling, between the US, Canada, India, all of that as well. Do you think adoption of AI in India vis-a-vis, the US and Canada? I mean, how would you rate them between US, Canada, India, 1, 2, 3? How would you actually rate adoption?
See, you know what? I've realized that the US is the daddy. They're always daddies. So they are the US, San Francisco, Silicon Valley for a reason, Canada is a younger sister. A nice protected younger sister. मैं तेरा ध्यान रखूंगा. It's always been like that. I don't see a lot of stuff happening over there. Comparatively, sure. In India, people are built, most things, people that I've been privy to are where people are building AI to enhance their existing multi-billion-dollar businesses. Sure. Because they're scared that somebody else will disrupt them. So they're just busy doing that. I don't think I've seen in India any new kid who's saying, I just go and come from behind and win the race because I got something brand new. So far, yeah.
Yeah. So definitely 1, 2, 3. They're right now kind of lagging in that in that space as well. Another thing that comes to mind, and I see this because again, like you mentioned, I see something new and like the bright shiny object syndrome. Something new comes up, pop in. I always have to pick it up. Similarly, even on the AI side, always investing in tools, technology. I know when Russell Brunson spoke about ClickFunnels for the first time at Cardone's conference, I went right away and I bought it. And the team's like, dude, what have you bought? Like, we already do something, like this or the same lines and all that. But the point is just jumping in and trying everything. So your advice to people, who are actually suffering from the BSO syndrome in terms of just trying everything, maybe wasting a bit of money, when is too much? Like, when are you getting carried away from that perspective?
So at all given times, I've always had you can call it an RLDT. I just call it a FAT. If you're always trying to figure out something, which because I call it a fun play and have fun thief, I don't feel bad when, there's a monthly 1.5, 2 lakh rupee, just tools the expense.
Right.
Because I know that one day I figure, the hour I figure out what to do with this, I'm going to put it in internet moguls or in my hotel business or give it to my agency founder. Because when an agency founders who are coming to me or paying the level of money that, they're smart people. They know this conversation we are having. They are like, ये तो मुझे भी पता है. Body shoddy. करके बताओ ना मुझे model framework करके दिखाओ. So they want a done for you kind of a coaching service. So I have to be ahead of the game. So I feel that every time that I have had this play and have fun department, it has always helped my regular businesses, and it's also helped me feel I'm excited to go to work.
Got it. So your advice is almost like we have a budget and it's just like, play money that you can actually go around and experiment with and who knows where it's actually get.
With 100%, कुछ ना कुछ आ जाएगा. 100%. Something if you go to look at it from that lens के मैं क्या fit करने वाला.
Got it. Something that you just mentioned, and something I've been thinking a lot about on how the world of even training, coaching, consulting, more on the training side is actually changing, especially with the SME entrepreneur, and so there was this model that popped up, during the pandemic, which is taught to you. Like everyone was coming on, they were doing these, webinars, and they're saying, "Hey, this is my thing, my ecosystem, come," and it's kind of just taught to you. Go ahead and implement yourself. The other extreme of that, which is something that a lot of people expect, is kind of done for you. So you just come in and everything is implemented, and they're like, "Theek ho raha hai, everything is fine," just kind of oversight. And then something that you just mentioned right now is the done with you.
Yeah.
You're saying, "Hey, my team and I, we're coming in, we're gonna handhold you." What is really changed, and what does the future hold? Like, which model do you think is gonna really blow up, and what does the future hold?
So I think what happened was the fundamental difference that happened with during COVID, between what was happening during COVID and now, is that the cost of acquisition of a customer was lower. We were getting people for 20 rupees to attend a webinar. Today it can go up to 300 rupees. So a lot of people feel scared of investing. The model has not changed. The entry to barrier is what is keeping people away. Anybody can get it. The model still works. You can do group coaching, one-to-one, any kind of 5 lakhs a month, 10 lakh, 20 group coaching. Everything is still working. It's just that when 2 webinars don't do well and you spend 5 lakh rupees and 2 lakhs for tools and 2 lakhs for salaries, after 10 lakhs, if you don't have more money, then it doesn't mean the model is not working. It just means that you ran out of fuel.
Correct. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, so you basically do have to have a long runway and
Yeah.
some amount of capital backing you up.
Protect an entrepreneur, go in with money. Like, you can't start a business without money and just figure it out. ऐसा नहीं होता. So, yeah. But it's a good game to play.
Correct. And I think, it was a conversation I was having with, one of India's founders of one of the, foremost travel companies. And he just mentioned, he says, unfortunately, in the post-pandemic world, what has happened is that, the expectation that people have for success, like they want it to be instant.
Yeah.
And he's like, back in the day when we bootstrapped and we started companies, okay, you and I both started companies, also in the 90s, the expectation was that was 5 saal to kuch nahi hone wala, right? These 5 years, you're just going to be pumping in, there's nothing going to be happening, right? But today, expectations are like that one webinar, and why did it not, break? And
no, you're absolutely 100%. So when these coaching clients come, they're like, how much time will it take? And I said, how much time do you think it should take? You're saying 1 crore a month banana hai. How much was your dad doing? So how much was he making? So what is your grandfather doing? So 1 crore a month आपने बनाना है. Let's put some perspective. आपको कितना time लगना चाहिए? वैसे आप कह रहे हो तो लग रहा है 2-3 साल तो लगने चाहिए, बट 6 महीने में हो जाए. 6 महीने में नहीं होगा. हो सकता है, हाँ, मे भी हो सकता है, but I don't think it should happen. It should not happen. Where's the learning curve, where's the team, where's the system? क्या बना हुआ 6 महीने में? So you're absolutely right. But the thing is that, see, I'm most bullish about the model that I teach, which is ultra high ticket. And I don't like to use the word high ticket. It feels that it's expensive. No, if you're charging 5 lakhs a month for a coaching program and you're helping that company make 50 lakhs, how is it high ticket? I got my ticket, my price.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's low ticket. And then, what I teach people is to be able to, I truly believe, Gaurav, after so many years, I think, as you roll, you start understanding yourself and people better. And I read a lot of human psychology or Osho or whatever. Just talk to my mom and dad, and it's the same thing. Like, wisdom from everywhere. And I think I'm able to, I love people. So when I talk to people, I just say, oh, what this lady said, I got divorced 3 times. And right. The other person said, मेरा 2 बार factory खराब हो. Hey, great. Can we help other people with the factory? Hey, but मैं तो fail हो गया था. अरे भाई, तभी तो आप दूसरी your message, your passage. So that people, उनके अंदर से extract करवाना is one thing. It's like a surgery. Oh, मेरा आपने दिखा दिया वो डर. But उसके बाद मैं action नहीं लूँगा. I'm not going to go on video and tell people, hey, I'm going to help. Hi, my name is this. I'm going to help you. I can't do that. अभी I can't do that. Because I don't feel that, because मैं तो 2 businesses में fail हो गया और मैं अपने 20 साल से अपने आप के, I put a gun to my head. And here you are telling me to become a coach to help other people get over a good divorce and move on. Or to run a factory. Are you mad? This does not resonate with me. But that's what we make them do. In the first 2 months of my coaching, I help people understand who they are and why they were here. Their mess happened. If they make it into a message, it's not a mess anymore. And then create a video offer around it.
Right.
And then create a pain behind the pain of the customer. Like, for example, there is one coach who came to us and he said, my ads are not working. I've spent 12 lakh in the last quarter. So I said, let's do the pain behind the pain exercise. And then we created an ad which was, do you go home at night, every night after 10 o'clock once your wife and kids are on to sleep? Not because you have too much work in your new coaching business. It's because you have no work in your new coaching business and you don't want to come face to face with your wife because she will ask you, क्या हुआ? 6 महीने पहले you said job छोड़िए, 6 महीने में business setup हो जाएगा, and you have no idea where to take the coaching business from. If that is you, that was me 6 months ago. Hi, my name is Arun Chaigal and I can help you. So, oh my God, so that's pain behind the pain is that he's not able to come to terms and have a conversation with his family. That's killing him. Don't do an ad saying, क्या आप 5 लाख रुपए कमाना चाहते हो? So that may be a pain, but the pain behind the pain is his family situation is like that. So when first we have people create their mess, we fight the mess, then do the offer, pain behind the pain, and then create an offer and tell them that only 5% people will convert, but those people who come to you will resonate with you in the first call. The connection will be there. The connection will be instant. So it's an inner game. I've realized that this business and this coaching is such an inner game. So you have to be the future version of your client. So figure out who that is. And then you will realize that I can work from anywhere in the world. And whenever a client comes to me, he's going to love me and he's going to pay me money. Don't try to, I think that's what I understood, what was not chasing money and attracting money. I used to think it's a cliched word ही क्या है. अब magnets की तरफ जा रहे हो, मैं magnet कैसे बनूं? I realized that who am I? I don't need to change myself. I just need to know what mess up happened in my life. How could I help other people get over that? And then people hear my message that I used to do. Oh, so Abhi had these problems running his agency. Now he finally, was able to crack a particular model. Now he can do this for me. And these were the problems and he's vulnerable and he's talking about it. You will not find any other coach in that niche. Nobody else will be able to relate to your heart to that extent. But then there's enough money. 15-20 client, महीने के रुपए, 5 lakh rupees a month, 1 crore rupees, have a 4-member team, work from anywhere. So that is the model that I am teaching and promoting. There are people who are doing group coaching and that's also working well, but that's never been my style.
Hasn't been a thing. Yeah, no, I love what you said. And I just found so insightful when you say, the mess behind the message. Because in India, a lot of people are taught that, you have to show yourself as someone who is bulletproof. Success is the only way. Failure, things that are not spoken about here. Not even get people to kind of bring that out and speak about it. I think that can be a powerful way because, we spoke about vulnerability earlier. So yeah, you're talking about that and we're talking about the learnings from those vulnerabilities and actually then leveraging that as well.
See, I think Gaurav, internet now, it's become, but if you're 25 years old, maybe the internet in India, 25. So it becomes like, I don't know, whatever. So it become, I think 25, 30, whatever. So become mature now. The internet itself will become mature. The audience will become mature. So now we don't need to do, okay, ये मेरी गाड़ी है, ये वो कर रहा है. People can see through that. Okay, he is trying too hard. So people are like, just give it to me the way it is. Because the clients who come to you after seeing you looking like a rock star are flaky. They're not the ones who you want to work with. So they want to come for your real self. So it's an exercise in them becoming real, you becoming real, and then aligning. So that's why I call it an inner game. So since I started doing yoga, I started understanding my business much better.
Very interesting. And, going back to, of course, even some global influencers. We talk about how, when Ty came out and you would only have, all his cars being showcased. And that's my garage and these are my Lambos and this and that. And you're right. I think the people that you attract, with that kind of messaging, again, their why or, their, I would say, corrupted version of a why is money, right? And that can never go places in the sense that, when times go, slightly bad or at bust, if money was your why, you're going to throw in the towel 100%. But if you have, like you mentioned, vulnerabilities, bigger purpose, things to, really make an impact on a community, right? The family aspect, I think then your reason is so much stronger. And hence, if you have a few bad months, you're not going to throw in the towel. You'll say, okay, this is just going to make me strong.
You're 1,000,000,000% right. And I'm so glad you said that because since I was a child, every time there was an adversity and business mein hota hai upar niche. My mom and dad always said, even now, at least we had each other and there's food on the table. So that was always like 99%. So we were brainwashed into thinking कि तू तो पागल है अगर इसके अलावा भी कुछ सोच है. And then I had, we had common friends. All these people had Joe, Adu, all of these people. I mean, none of them ever asked me, what are you doing? How much you're making? They always said, you don't have time for me or you have time for it. So when you're surrounded by people who give that money zero importance, then you slowly start saying, yaar, iski to importance mere aaspaas koi de nahi raha. So let me just be with these kind of people because, yeah.
And which is why I think friendships, that are from school and college, those different times. And those are the ones that really survived and, stayed the test of
100%. When I do my gratitude exercise, I'm like, friends, thank God, family. और फिर लास्ट में होता है यार काम में तो ये भी नहीं चल रहा वो भी नहीं चल रहा चल वो फिगर आउट कर देंगे ये सब तो है यार.
Truly evolved. So rapid fire, Mari, let's do some rapid fire your questions. And of course, you have been a streetcar racer to Korea, so let's talk about some of that as well. And so rapid fire, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just ask you some stuff, and you can maybe in a few words or a few sentences, whatever comes to mind. So of course, I'm going to take the car one up first. So Lamborghini, Ferrari, or Porsche?
I think a Porsche.
Okay. Yeah. What's the fastest you ever driven?
220.
Miles or scales? Okay. Sometimes you never know. We on miles is why. Okay, what's scarier, starting a business or streetcar racing?
Streetcar racing, yeah. I've never gone so crazy in my business.
Yeah. If you could race against any one person, past or present, who would it be?
To Schumacher is Tendulkar for us. So, yeah, I just wish him all the best. He's in my prayers at many times. He can't be.
Yeah. I think truly iconic growing up. I think Schumacher and Ferrari was almost to everyone. So, yeah.
But I'd rather race with with you and my school buddies and all of that. It's more fun.
Got it. Okay, on the AI side, the most underrated AI tool for marketers.
I think this is new one which has come out, which is called Mermaid.ai, and it helps you create workflows for which you hire companies from outside and say, "No, ऐसा बताओ," और शाम तक हो जाता है. So I think for anybody who's suffering from operational problems, but mostly agencies and coaches, right, by the evening after watching Gaurav's podcast, you should be able to figure out this major problem in life.
Nice. So Mermaid.ai, good. I'll definitely go and check that out. If you could hire one famous person as your agency's creative director, who would it be?
Gary Vee. But maybe Gary Vee is the answer to 90% of the questions.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the longer scheme of things as well. So you spent a lot of time on stages. Your favorite stage moment where you came on and you said, okay, wow, like this is super.
When I was in grade 10 and I was 118 kilos and everybody was laughing, and my mom said, you swear by me that you would have finished the speech, and it was excruciating because I was stammering and I was overweight and people were laughing. But when that speech finished, everybody was still laughing and I was like, wanted to die. But I knew I could go home and tell mom that I did it. And so that going home and telling her that, I did it for you, I'm still like that. I still want to go home and tell her that I did it for you.
Wow, forget it. And yeah, you've spoken on some big stages. So yeah, that's not that tough and all the way back then. Very super. If you had only 30 seconds to inspire an audience, what would you say?
I would say everything comes from having a daily dose of vitamin F, and if you can have it twice a day or thrice a day, it's available for most people over a phone call or a hug. Your wife, your husband, your kids, anybody, just go and hug them tight for 30 seconds and you will get everything, all the vitamins, all the nutrients, all the inspiration that you need, and you can go back and challenge the world.
In case you missed it, vitamin F is vitamin family, right? And of course, very close to your dad, in fact, your mom as well. But what's the best dad advice you ever got?
There are enough people to bash you. Don't bash yourself. You're amazing, and everything is just a lie. You're the best.
And to your girls, what's the best advice that you've ever given?
To them? Mm-hmm. Then you're my children. Nothing can go wrong. Be fearless.
Love that. So amongst possessions, I know you keep picking up a lot of things, but what's one of the weirdest things you own?
Weirdest thing I own? Oh my God, there's so many things we pick up from. So, I bought I went to Dan Locke's office and I saw all the figures that he has of Iron Man and all of that. So I bought an Iron Man was 6 feet tall. And I still haven't even assembled it properly. So it looks like half Iron Man, half Batman, half Bimar. Okay, I don't.
Yeah, but you made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember on some of our conversations, you've had a lot of Marvel memorabilia.
You are a monster, man. Castle Grayskull, all of that. Skeletor, I bought all of those original pieces.
Yeah. Back in the day, also such super collectible.
I know, they were really.
So if you could switch careers with anyone in the world for a day, who would it be?
Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer, right? And what's one thing you regret not doing sooner?
Forgetting myself.
Super. All right. And the last one on the rapid fire. If social media disappeared overnight, what would be your backup plan?
I don't know. Maybe I would become a fitness instructor like your friend over here.
Yeah. Super. Awesome, man. That's cool. That was the first rapid fire. We actually finished like a rapid fire and I didn't get into like the, okay, Mahabharat Ramayana can do it. So rapid fires have we gone
But मैं ये सोच रहा था, see, that's not the point.
Yeah, and appreciate that, man. That's like I said, sharp. So you mentioned Gary B, right? And you've had access to some amazing people, over the course of, your career. How is that access, happened in the first place? And how can others, follow suit to get access to some of these people?
Yeah, so, very interesting. And I get this question a lot because, that would used to be just a challenge because, so it all started with a backstory that me and my wife and, we have a dog rescue, we have dogs that we go take our dogs out. And the neighborhood dog walkers. So it's always like 6-7 people with 15-20 dogs and madness. So there's one guy had a German Shepherd Alsatian, 3, 4, 6 months old. And we found a statue of a bear and this, the pup was circling and trying to shepherd it around and barking. Everybody was very cool. So one guy asked, he said, what's he doing? He said, he's a shepherd, right? Oh, okay, he's a shepherd, so he's shepherding. And I was like, but how does he know he's a shepherd? Like we all know that he's a shepherd, so uske nature mein, uske DNA mein, how easily he said he's a shepherd, so he knows it's in his bloodline. So that hit me and I was like, it gave me a newer purpose for living. I was like, whatever I do is going to be in my kids. So it's always going to remain. So I wanted to prove to my kids that you can reach out to anybody. These people, just somebody having more money than you and more volume means nothing. Sure. People only exchange value in this world. You can call it energy on a spiritual front or front, but otherwise it's valued. So then go online, see what is it. Has Gary Vee launched a new agency? Is he looking for an office space here? Do I know the real estate agents in Bangalore? Can I help him figure it out in 2 days versus 2 months? And then send him a video saying, hey, I can do this for you. He's put you in touch with somebody, make that office thing happen, send a video saying, congratulations, that's your offer. Maybe he gets an opportunity to weekend. So find out what is the value missing currently, which is most relevant in the next 2-3 weeks. What's that one? So for agency founders that I coach, I tell them, look at the marketing managers, CMOs of the companies that you want to reach out to. They've all posted, hey, I won the Airtel deal or I won the Ferrari deal or whatever as an account. And immediately they need people to help them. Freelancer, vendors, photographers, filmmakers, all of that. That's the time to say, hey, Mr. Rohit, I knew you. Nobody else but you could have cracked that deal. Excellent work. This is my portfolio. I can come in. First 2 weeks free. We'll go to the location in Noida, shoot for you, come back. If you like the film, then give us the work. And the vibe is that. So you can reach out to anybody.
All right, so let's talk about Gary Vee because this guy's been the OG. I mean, most people don't last in the space for, weeks, even months. And here is a guy who's just stayed relevant for 20 plus, years and more now. What sets Gary Vee apart from everyone else?
So, like they say, don't meet your heroes because, you'll be disappointed. And not once. He's always sort of up the bar for me in my head. Not because, and he doesn't even try. But I think every human being is a little bit hypocritical. कहनी और करनी में थोड़ा बहुत फर्क होता है. Sometimes you just say कि मुझे क्या करना चाहिए in present tense, but वो आपने किया नहीं होता. But you're on the path, but you still say it so you can be seen. But this guy is fearless and he wants to say what he wants to say. And so I just found that he is real and he genuinely likes human beings. And he likes to do things around human beings. And he doesn't work for money, contrary to what people think. So his superpower is people love him. And when people love you, you can't make people love you. You have to love them. And then some people may love you back. So he loves thousands of people through his contact. He कोई garage से भी and then BTR stuff. उससे उसको 0 पैसे बनने वाले हैं. But youngsters, उसकी audience बन जाएगी. They will love him when they grow up. They'll do anything from him. Today he wants a team member to work. The best talent in the world wants to work with him. So he knows how to give love to get love back in the genuine sense of the word. And then positively leverages to create a business of people with names that are all their facts.
And he's really genuinely hustled, right? I think I came across an episode of Conan where he was, talking about his wine and the wine business, and he's, licking stones.
Yeah.
He's eating dirt, right? And then he puts a sock in his mouth. I mean, when you go back and you think about that, the stuff that this guy has done, it's just insane.
Yeah. No, he's can be early movers. I mean, that title goes only to him. Early mover by far, like by far.
And I loved day trading attraction when it came out. I'm like, Gary Vee writing about the stock market. But now it was, of course, all things digital. And that's a book which I've given a copy to everyone on my team.
Right.
I'm like, dude, you gotta just read this. I see this. And truly. And I think and you mentioned something very important, which is authenticity and trust. And I think that is something that even your brand is synonymous with. Because never have I heard people come on and say, yaar, abhi nahi humko lapeta hai. I think you're very clear the fact that when you aren't able to help someone and you know that this is something that you won't be able to do, you're pretty upfront with them and brutal and say, hey, listen, this is not a good fit, right?
See, honestly, again, like as I keep mentioning my parents, and I've learned this from Divya. Because she, according to me, according to data or whatever, many other things, she's the number one lawyer in her field. And she's done zero market. You can't find her on social media. Because she just believed that you take care of your customers. And for her to take care of her customers, what I've learned from her is, she said no to 80%, where she feels that either there would be a little bit less chance of she helping them.
Right.
So she said no. So 80% of the people she said no to. So I learned that from her. That just to have a good night's sleep, you have to know exactly who you can help. So so I tell her that this whole credit goes to you for making me a fearless entrepreneur, and that's what I teach people also. In your coaching model, but uske liye pehle alignment ढूंढनी पड़ती है. You can't just say yes or no to a person based on price. You say based on first alignment, and then एक बार alignment होती है, people will create the money to come and pay you.
Trust that. Yeah, super. And hence I understand why we both married to super women.
Exact, 100%.
So tell me about, when agency founders are really coming to you and they're trying to figure out their models. And sometimes there's this big debate between, should I be looking at a retainer or should I be going on an hourly basis? I mean, what's your advice been?
So for both, I had agency founders is my, it's one thing that I launched last year. But for agency founders and coaches, my message to both are, these conversations come much later. First, you understand the industry in which you know how to create multiples of the revenue that the person is paying you. So for example, if it's a hotel, so hotel has 4 things: rooms, F&B, banquets, and spa. So for example, you go to a hotelier who has 100 rooms, right, and you say that I've seen you always have 80% occupants, which means you should have 20 rooms every day vacant. Right. And what if with ads I can help you fill 5 rooms a day? Every room is $200. Average length of stay is 3. So I'm good. So it's $200 into 3, $600 per room. Right. Into 5 rows. So it's 30,000 per day. Into 30. So 10 lakhs का मैं आपको room का business आके देना रखा हूँ. Then you have a banquet which does 70% occupancy. Right. Weekdays पे खाली होता है. What if I'm able to get 2 small 100 people shadis on every weekday, which is 25 lakhs each, so 50 lakhs a week, 2 crore की शादी हो जाएगी. वैसे ही restaurant में I'll get you 5 extra tables every day for 5,000 each. Plus I'll give you 2 spa bookings a day, whatever you can with your market buyer. The total is 3 crores of business, for example, I can give you. I'll take 5%. Then once you know how much you can give to that person, like in Excel, you can say मैं आपको इतना improve कर सकता हूँ. But most people don't know how to read the potential or the left opportunity or the money on the table that the person is leaving. So they're not able to give them a correlated value opportunity. उनको पता ही नहीं उनके बिजनेस में क्या चल रहा है. वो कह रहे हैं आपके 25 सोशल मीडिया के पोस्ट कर दूंगा, अचानक की वीडियो बना दूंगा. So they do commodity based selling, and commodity based selling is a price war, which is a race to the bottom. So the number one thing is you understand the industry that you're trying to impact. उस industry में उसका you should be able to read what I call the money map. If you can understand the money map, reverse engineer in charge a retainer only, or retainer plus profit, or only percentage, depending on how confident you feel about vehicles.
Interesting. And yeah, I think that's cool that you have, a stake in the game, and the person on the other side feels that, you're invested as well. How about guarantees? Because, I've been hearing some conversations where guarantees are being requested from a client. And they're saying that if you don't hit it, then, we have an issue, we do, have some money back, etc. What's happening in the space of guarantees?
So see, the thing is that I'm not trying to generalize, but most Indian clients and Indian vendors on both sides have not been able to figure out the guarantee. Right. So it's a little gray, in terms of trust, but maybe the CEO shake hands with the other CEO, and then there are 2 marketing managers who fight it. So it's best to safeguard yourself with a retainer and then a percentage or both sides. I think that's what works better.
It's interesting because I remember one time we were in conversation with two different clients, and they're both, market leaders in their space nationally, and the other one internationally. And one of them is the furniture space, and they came to us, for a particular mandate. And I said that I can make this happen for you. And he's like, what if you don't? I'm like, okay, well, you're paying me an X amount, okay, and each of their chairs is 2 lakh rupees. I said, the point is, in case we don't deliver, what I'll do is I'll write you a check for exactly what you pay me. And what you do is you send me 25 chairs to the academy. Right? And the guy's like, like he couldn't even fathom. He's like, but who does that? And I'm like, that's my guarantee. Okay. And he's like, no, this is too crazy. And he didn't actually go ahead. There was another time, brokerage, one of the bigger brokerages in the country. And they came back, and again, they wanted me to 20 cities, 40, sets of trainings, etc. So obviously it was a really big figure that I gave them as well. And they came back and said, what if it doesn't work? I said, I'll write you a check for exactly the same amount. We take that amount and you put in any instrument that your brokerage or your bank sells, and I'm good with that. And the guy thought about it and he says, this is just too crazy. I don't think I can work with you. But I'm like, okay, think like, entrepreneur, think someone, who can really go out there and move the needle. And finally, they came back a year later saying, my lag chuki hai, we're not baby. Everything you said is correct. And now we want to work with you. I'm like, you know what? That ship is sailed, man.
Right.
So, but yeah.
No, it's interesting. No, it's a beautiful feel. Oh, when you put the phone down, you're like, great. Even for team members, I do this. If somebody wants to work with me or applies, they have to come for 2-3 rounds of it. You have to see the fight.
Sure.
And for the client also, right? You have to see the fight of the client. Do they really want to work with you? So I'm doing everything so we send a very good money map. We explain to them. My idea is that, so we charge anywhere from 30 to 50,000 rupees for a call. And it's refundable if you think there's no value. Right. And we never refund it. Or you create maximum value. Right. And then after that, you send a money map and a plan and everything. So the person should feel, if you're able to make the person believe in the first call, he got at least 5x value of the 50,000 he's paying you for that one call. You've done 2 things. One, you got a serious client who paid you 30 to 50,000 for a call. Anyways, you filtered out, the junk. And then you've given him that value. Now he's got enough to play with, but he doesn't know how to put these Lego blocks together. He shows off, he shows his team, whatever, but I don't know what to do. Definitely coming back. Stop that.
Superman, I think it's been close to like the 1 hour mark, and it's still been, like I said, a crazy good conversation. Our second podcast, together. Of course, the last one was in the online Zoom world where we did a backstory and context, and we put it the link for that conversation here as well, because we give a lot of context. But just thank you so much for coming in. What is the next few months and quarters looking like for you? What's lined up next, Fabian?
So I think so we're launching agency dinners across India, about 7 cities. Weekly dinners happening for agency founders, like a EO, YPO kind of a network, but only for agency founders.
Nice.
Then we're launching agency matchmaker, which is again dinner lunch format where agencies are going to meet clients and vice versa, or networking events. So these are going to be physical events, which we are launching maybe August. And second thing that we're launching is agency podcasts, where we're doing a podcast in 17 different cities. So we have been able to get some very good college students from different colleges abroad. They're all interns and helping us with this project.
Right.
So there's going to be a podcast every day of the year in one city with agency founder. I'm not going to be doing it. Remedy is going to do it, or AI is going to do it. Yeah. So I don't make many money out of any of these initiatives, but I just it's my hope to build an amazing community so that I can go to any city and type like Gary B. Hey, anybody here wants to meet up, and 20-30 people come who are all agency founders, and we can have a connect. From there, obviously, somebody will sign up with me. There is the business outcome that will come through community building as well. And then the second thing is that I'm starting my new podcast, Kush, Raho, Bus, next month. With a very special guest I'm going to tell you once we launch our first call on the, so living the next, I'm 48, so maybe living the next 85, 90 years of my life as a fearless founder. That's my promise to Vacha.
Yeah. Superman. And I think, truly you're someone who's always been a giver, right? And in a world today, which is, full of takers and it's always about themselves, I think you're really putting, your clients first. And I think that's...
No, but I say, Gaurav, you always see in others what you have inside of you. You are the giver. If it was between you and me, you're way ahead. As I learned so much from you, you're just naturally a giver. You're like, you're naturally a giver. So you take the cake at this.
So kind. So you said that. I did have, a few things for you.
Yeah.
So of course, and you were eyeing that mobile stand that was on my the laptop. So that's one for you. So that's going to be the Water Mobile Octa. So that's something you put on your laptop, and it just gives you an additional screen. And of course, from our other very dear friends, Shantanu Nikhil, I have something for you as well. So that's like a Shantanu Nikhil, lovely Bhagat roller pen. And of course, they recently just worked upon a very interesting line of all leather accessories. And since all the travel that you do, so here's a Shantanu Nikhil passport holder. And that video. Wow.
I love it. Love it.
Some people, but hey man, I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, love it.
Like I know you're on a whirlwind tour of podcast after podcast, and so much happening for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that because then after that it's vacation time.
Love that. So once again, my friend, thank you so much, and it was a pleasure. And thank you again for making the trip. And I hope everyone who's watching this, really saw the wonderful person, behind Internet Moguls and the digital agency business and all the amazing things that he does. Truly one of those gems. If you haven't met him, or if you do bump into him at one of the various events that he's speaking at, go up and have a conversation. Truly, you will leave thinking that, okay, this is one man who truly believes in leaving the world a better place than he found it. So with that said, thank you. This is GB signing off. We have a very large viewership, but in conjunction to that viewership, the subscription on the podcast, well, there's some work to be done as well. In fact, 98% of our viewers are not subscribers to our channel. So if I can make a request to each and every one of you, if you find value in what we deliver, if you like the content that we bring on the podcast on Let's Chat with GB, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button and do share ahead as well. It will go a very, very long way in bringing a lot more guests, a lot more value content, and a lot more value to each and every one of you. Looking forward to having you as our subscribers. Thank you.